has not started recording pending.
Oh no, it says it's been recording for 12 minutes.
Okay. Anyway. All right, that sounds great. June, I'll talk to you later more about this, probably.
Yep.
So moving on, LV battery team. Yeah, where are you right now? I recall the last time you guys finished your wiring diagrams. They need some more revisions, but they look a lot more complete.
Yeah, I think next we'll be finishing the CAD, using the wiring diagrams once we finalize on the wiring diagrams. And yeah.
So you're starting that next week?
Yeah, we should finish the wiring diagrams by next week, hopefully.
The CAD model, do you know, I know Ravindu's working on the wiring diagram. Do you think you could start the CAD model now? And just, working through, remember how we drew out how you want to place the batteries? Just focus on that for now.
Okay. But I can't really CAD that well.
That's why I want you to start now, because it's going to take you some time to learn how to CAD. And I think Ravindu, if you want to talk about this, but I think Ravindu already had good understanding of the wiring diagram.
Yeah.
Seem to have that down, and so I don't think you both need to work on it. If just one person can do that, and then the rest of you can work on something else. I see Harsh is here. Have you guys caught up, Harsh? It's nice to see you, Harsh.
Yeah. Yeah, so I just caught him up on basically what we're doing, but because I did more of the wiring diagram, I'll fill in a bit more after this meeting on the specifics.
Yeah, so you guys don't know how to CAD. Do you know, do you have a plan on how you're gonna learn how to CAD? Do you know, or what's going on? Do you need a lot of help with that? I need to know so I can give you the resources that you need.
I think it might be better if you just give us some resources and we can just go through them, so I can help my uncle out with the CAD after I'm done.
Yeah, so if you already have your drawings, I can get someone assigned, someone who's just working on CAD, to assign to your sub team to help you guys do it. And this is kind of what I did with the high voltage battery thing. I did a bunch of drawings on what I want this thing to look like, and I got a list of the materials. And in that list of materials, so sorry, CAD model, draw diagrams, how you look like. You get a list of make a list of materials. Just the major ones that will go in. Assign CAD student to work with you and help you guys do it. And then, we'll talk about this in our meeting, our one-on-one meeting that we're going to have this week.
Sure. Okay.
Yeah, I think this will be the best course of action. So, finish wiring diagrams next week. Okay, so, all right, charging system team. I guess that's Rayan, Esther, and Abnash. Do you guys have any, just give a quick update on where you are from the last time and where you're moving to?
Yeah, so from our writing for the EHW document, we kind of realized that we're right now lacking in terms of testing the charging system. So we kind of outlined the testing objectives in the document, and I think we're going to be working towards finalizing our testing procedure and actually executing the testing. And we're also hoping to hear your feedback on like our section on the document.
Oh yeah, on your stuff on the document. Yeah, I still have to do that. I'm gonna do that. I'm gonna do this today. And I know you guys probably want to read through it. It's not gonna be much feedback. And most of the feedback that I have will not be so much about the document, even though it will be about the document. It'll be about like how your design, it'll be feedback on your designs or where you are in the design phase and like how does it meet the objectives that we need mostly. And just really usually things to think about, like, okay, does this, okay, you say you propose this testing procedure for this thing, does it actually test it to that extent? Are there any like, things that we didn't think about, like variabilities in when we actually test it, that it's going to change from the testing environment to the to a real world setting and stuff like that. But when we put everything together. All right. So you guys were generating, finalizing testing procedures. And what about the SOP documents? How are those coming along?
I think the SOP documents we have filled out as much as we can, like, without doing the testing. So
Okay.
yeah, so that is, yeah, we've done as much as we can on that front for now.
Okay. So yeah, Esther, I actually got another of those ISDTQ8 chargers, and I still need to buy a power supply, but those two things and a battery will be coming your way so you can start testing. So honestly, you could probably just test on a single cell and then document that. You might need a couple tools like a thermometer and voltage sensor, but yeah.
Sounds good.
All right, high voltage battery system. Oh yeah, I guess this team needs like a big refresh. I don't see Brian on here. But basically it's me. It's gonna be, and Brian has been working a little bit on the BMS stuff. And Natasha, you're actually joining this team. So really what we want to do, I will have a meeting with you guys. So need to set up meeting to discuss HV battery design presentation. Of the BMS. Oh yeah. So Natasha, well, I know it was break, but how were you able to? How far in the textbook were you able to get to?
Oh, I finished it.
Ah, that's amazing to hear. Okay, so now you finished it. And the most important part of that book for you, I guess, was the BMS section. That's a lot of what you'll be working on too. And actually, a lot of what you'll write for the BMS section will translate into how we implement it into the low voltage battery design, because the BMS, well, the BMS system, quote unquote, that we're going to design for that we're designing for the high voltage battery system will also be used in the low voltage battery system. It won't be as complex because there's no daisy chaining, but yeah, I will need to set up a meeting with you to kind of like explain how our battery works and what its needs are and how we're going to fulfill that with the BMS system that we're making. And I guess the last is the low voltage power distribution team. You want to give some updates on where you are and how far you.
So all of our caddings are done, and the layout is done, and I did some like rough assembly of the CADs, and I guess maybe like this week I'll like finish the assembly. But I don't really know what the next step is.
Oh, you finished the layouts. I'd like to see them, the layouts. And when you say CAD, is that CAD of just the parts, not like the entire model, right?
Yeah, CAD of the parts, and I'll be doing the assemblies
Okay.
probably this week. Yeah. The layout, I think Shash has the layout.
So layout, is that like or like your wiring diagram, or
Yeah.
is it like a physical schematic of like?
Oh, okay. I thought the physical schematic thing would be the assembly, but the wired diagram is Shash finished them, I think.
Okay, so I think you guys should try to do so you have the wiring diagram figured out.
Yes.
So I think you need to start, while you start the assemblies, you should also start physical layout. And that's kind of just, putting the connectors, like visualizing where
Oh, okay.
and
Yeah.
connections between them. It will inform your assembly phase.
Mm-hmm.
And it's just nice to have that piece of documentation design.
Yeah.
Too.
Okay.
Yeah, I think you guys will have this done by the end of the month.
Yeah.
And you already have the connectors finalized. Is there anything else that you're not sure of or need help with?
I don't think so. I can't think of anything at the moment.
Have you guys decided on are you using a PCB in the board or in the housing, or are you going to be like connecting everything by wires?
Oh.
How are you connectors together, and how are you connecting those connectors to its main central connector that will connect to eventually the power source?
I thought we're using the connectors.
Which ones?
Wait. I need to pull,
because you have the XT like 60 connectors for the power source, or XT30 or whatever.
Yeah.
And then though that breaks out into 3 more. But like on the other side of that connector, like there needs to be some sort of wire between the connector that is for that voltage rail and like the power coming out of the converter. And each of those smaller connectors that you have for the 5-volt rail, for example, I don't remember which one. It was like some power, or was it Molex connectors that you decided on?
Oh, I have to check the chat. I don't remember.
But we have connectors there, but on the other side, it's literally going to be wires coming out. So how are you going to manage that? And there's a lot of these parallel connections. I really recommend that you make a PCB, or at least come up with wiring diagram. Your wiring diagram kind of already is that, and then we can make a PCB for that.
Yeah.
That will allow you to connect all those together, like solder the wires from those connectors onto the PCB board, and it will make it really easy when we assemble it. Will provide some sort of structural rigidity too.
Okay, yeah. I think our original idea is to use a PCB board, so everything will look cleaner.
Yeah. So. Okay. So yeah, that's why I want the physical layout, because the physical layout tells us where are we putting this PCB relative to the components. And I find don't start with where you're putting the wires, but start where you're putting all the like hard components first.
Yeah.
Solid components. And then we'll figure out how the wires go in between them.
Okay. Do we need like a housing, like a cover over it, or?
Ideally, we have a housing around the connectors,
Mhm.
like the USB thing that I showed you guys the other day.
Yeah.
And then for the power converters, it needs something to sit on, right? So it needs at least a base plate.
Okay.
And it could be like that the converter is built into each of those strips that we have for each of the voltage rails, so that we can just put a 24-volt like output from the battery into each of those voltage rails, because it will just convert it.
Yeah.
Or you can have the voltage conversion in its own housing, or you can have all the voltage converters and all those things in like one stick each, or you can have them like, it's up to you how you want to do it.
Okay. Okay.
If you want to give them a housing around it, that's good too. I think that's a good idea. Try to make it, as compact as possible, but at the same time, you should take a look at June's design for the pre-charge circuit, because it was just a bunch of really big electronic components, but they needed housing and a way for them to be mounted, because like these parts may fail. You don't want to have to take apart the whole pod. We don't want to have to drill holes in the base plate of the pod. We want to be able to move these things around easily, take them in and out quickly, be able to test them outside of the pod, without needing the pod there.
Okay.
Yeah, they had like screw holes and stuff. Yeah, so you should ask June, like seriously, maybe today, tomorrow, whenever, to take a look at his design and ask him some of the design considerations he made for that, because it's going to be a lot of the same design considerations there will translate over.
Okay.
Yeah, we can schedule a call whenever you're free, Jasmine.
Okay. That'd be great.
Right. It's looking good for this semester. And any parts that you guys think you need that you will need a long lead time, especially, please let me know, because we want to get those, and lead time is like the shipping time and stuff like that. We want to get those ordered as soon as possible, because of all the delays in shipping and stuff, and manufacturing. We want to get them down here so we can test and manufacture this semester. And hopefully the final competition is in June or July, around then. And the pod has to be fully manufactured and tested around like March, April, May. Yeah, about March to May. It should start is when, like March, we should start manufacturing. May, we should have done manufacturing. Wait, March. Yeah. Done manufacturing, done testing and everything. Like, and I'm talking about like end of the month. These are like end of the month deadlines for May, and then for the March, we should have that around early March. Our design's like fully done. I know it's hard to confirm a design you never tested, but this is like just the full design before we start testing kind of thing. I want to try and get this high voltage battery system done as soon as possible, but there's just been so many setbacks and things that like pop up for it, and and that will go out to the battery when it's built. Will go out to all the charging system members will get one, and then so you guys can start testing there. All right, it's a good meeting. Welcome back to school, everybody. Bye.
All right, take care, everyone.
Bye.
Bye.